In the middle of the night, a lonesome man was making his way home from a neighborhood pub through the empty city streets. Following many alcoholic beverages, he became very unsteady on his feet. He was born and raised in this city, so he didn't care where he went. His feet would eventually take him to his home. You are watching YouTube channel Daily Life Stories. Before proceeding to the rest of the story, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you won't miss another interesting future video story we upload. Getting back to the video. The man was 28 years old, John, and at the time, he was thinking about his lonely life. Why did he have to live this way, he wondered. The kids of his friends have already started school, and I can't keep a girlfriend for very long. How harsh am I? And no, I'm not being impolite. There must be some match for me. Business is the only area in which I've achieved any kind of success. Even though I haven't hit the jackpot yet, I have enough money to live comfortably and comfortably. He stopped abruptly, grabbed his head in his hands, and tears began to fall. He has spent much money on the doctor to be able to have kids, but all in vain. Now, this other doctor was his only hope, but he was aware that he will also be not much of assistance to him. Anyhow, he decided to visit him tomorrow. Walking to the bridge, he thought of jumping into the dark river. My concerns will be washed away. He looked at the water again. This time, he remembered his cat who would be hungry, and no one would feed him, so he heads back to his house. He saw a young woman as he crossed the bridge. Her backpack had a baby on her chest. She admired the water for a moment before climbing the bridge's railing. She stood on the tallest bar to jump, but John acted instantly and prevented her from jumping. He grabbed her by the waist and dragged her down to the beach. John screamed, "Are you stupid? What are you doing? Nobody wants you around here. Why are you attempting to stop me?" she yelled. John nodded at the crying child. "I thought it was too soon for you to die, especially him. Pick yourself up and go to your mom, husband, or any of your kin. I'm homeless, no husband or parents. I'm single now. Nobody assisted me with the baby. I have been a pain to society. Come with me." "I can't come. What if you're a maniac?" John took her hand. "You don't care if you drown, but you're afraid of a madman? Come with me." So she consented half-heartedly. As they walked across the city at night, the child was continuously crying. John at last asked, "Why does he cry?" The mother hugged her baby. "He is hungry and I am out of milk. It vanished quickly due to stress. I can't afford baby food. There's a 24-hour food shop. Let's buy baby food there," John said. The cashier and security guard didn't trust late-night clients. John grabbed the basket with determination and asked the cashier, "Where's your baby food?" She pointed there. They headed for the baby food. John then tells the lady, "Take what you need." She took one package. "Take more," John said. He waited until she finished loading the basket. She also took some wet wipes for the baby. John paid using a credit card. Finally, they arrived at the residence and went inside. John then pointed toward the guest. "This room comprises a kitchen, dining area, and bathroom. So you will stay here. My bedroom is there." He stopped and asked the girl's name. "Samantha," she said. After John goes to sleep, Samantha lit the gas burner and boiled the kettle. He isn't psychotic. Without this nice guy, I would have drowned. What would my child and I do if homeless? We'd be shivering. Tomorrow, he'll remove us. Today, we won't be freezing. As the kettle boiled, she gently laid the crying child on the bed and retrieved a bottle from her bag. She sterilized the bottle and mixed baby milk in the kitchen. The baby drank it all. Samantha then cleaned him up with a damp cloth after changing his diaper. He fell asleep. After feeding the baby, the girl realized she hadn't eaten in a while. So she went to the kitchen and ate smoked sausage from the fridge. She grinned while munching. She cut bread, sausage, and cheese. The girl realized she'd been rude to John, as after all, he wasn't that bad. So when her stomach stopped growling, she waved and fell asleep with the baby. Several times during the night, the young woman awoke to feed her little baby. He's 8 months old now and never seemed satisfied. In the early morning, she heard the apartment's owner get up and get ready for the day. Her son was still sleeping, so she slowly got up. The good times must come to an end at some point. At the moment, John was engaged in some activity at the stove. After a brief hand wash, she headed into the kitchen. He nods at her. "I'm making fried eggs now." She nudged him gently away from the fire. "You really ought to take a seat." The girl made a fresh dill milk omelet after she retrieved eggs from the fridge. She prepared the morning coffee. During this entire time, he was on the phone with someone discussing his business details. Samantha thought the man was ignoring her. After finishing his meal, he poured himself a cup of coffee and stood up. The woman stiffened in anxious expectation that he's about to kick us out at this point. "Samantha, I had to go on a week-long business trip. Remember to give the cat some food while I'm away. Don't give him anything from the stove. He favors raw foods, such as fish and meat. Do as you like in the other rooms, but stay out of my room." At that moment, a scream echoed from the bedroom. Samantha suddenly got out of her seat and stared at the man with confusion in her eyes. He signaled the young lady to depart with a nod. She left and came back 5 minutes later with the baby. On the table, there was a stack of cash. The man nodded in the direction of the cash. "This would be enough for you for the next several days when I'm on business trip." He took a step towards the door. Suddenly, the infant reached out to him and mimicked his father's voice. It was probably all in John's head. Nonetheless, there seems to be a reason. He felt an immense void in his life from the knowledge that he would never have children of his own. He made an unexpected comment, even to himself. "Samantha, may I please hold him?" She handed up the baby, and a bright grin spread across her face. "Grab him. Do you have any experience holding infants or young kids?" "No. The correct way is to hold him like that." As he threw his arms around and made some happy noises, the kid seemed to be having a good time. And nobody was impressed by the miracle that had just occurred. His expression darkened, and he handed the baby back to the mom. "Now that he's gone, I'll never have a son." More than a week has gone by. At last, John was on his way back to his house, and the doctor had informed him he was barren and would never have kids. He was in a terrible mood. "I don't understand why I have to have a 4-bedroom house and an SUV. In order to provide for his family, the guy must work. My automobile has 7 seats, and there is a perpetual state of chaos in my apartment." A cloud of darkness followed him as he entered his flat. But wait, his flat was not messy like before. Exceptional cleaning was seen throughout the flat. John saw the lady's face light up with a grin, and he couldn't help but to want to reach out and touch the baby. Sometime later, they got married. Samantha and John treated the kid as their own, and they both adored him. It was found out that the girl's parents had died a long time ago, and the baby's dysfunctional father had abandoned them at an early stage of pregnancy. The prospect of raising a kid on her own left her feeling bleak, and she had no idea what to do. Her life was radically altered the night she met John. This is how 2 misfortunate people were brought together by fate and ultimately discovered happiness and love.